been in education for the past 10 years, and I've been very fortunate to teach all over from kindergarten all the way up until high school. So I've had, like a run of the gamut, for being in different parts. The last few years I've been in middle school education, but I actually started out as a sub. And my first assignment was as a long-term sub teaching second grade, which was for 6 months. So that gave me a pretty, good feel of what goes on in lower grades. And then the next year, pretty much after that, I've been in either high school or middle school education because I'm a chemist. So as a chemist, you can pretty much work your hand and not really have like a teaching degree, because the state of Ohio, don't get me started on the qualifications that different teachers have to have. But as a chemist, I could be a sub, but I couldn't be a real high school teacher. But that didn't matter because we don't have teachers in Cleveland Public School District. So I was able to basically be a year-long science teacher. And one of my years was at John Adams, and that our school system was so broken, we didn't have an earth space science teacher at all, just at all. So every day, the 11th grade kids who were supposed to be in earth space science just went to the gym every day, not just for a week or 1-2 weeks, or I'm talking semesters. Like, these kids are just in the gym and they don't have teachers because it's very hard nobody wants to take science classes on top of science classes on top of science classes and come out and get paid $30,000 a year. Like, the average charter school, they pay, if your child goes to a charter, the average charter school pays their teachers like $32,000 a year. Now, if you just do the math on how much most people have to pay to get their education, and don't have any kids, like, you can't have any kids to take care of other than yourself, $32,000 is like no money to live on when your student loan payment is like $600, $700 a month. So first of all, just the amount of money that we pay teachers, it's crazy. And now just think about that. If you went to school all this time to be a teacher and this is how much money you make, how hard are you really going to work at your job? Really, like how that's just human nature. You work as hard as you get paid, right? And unless you really, really love your job, our teachers are tired, they're burnt out. I haven't even started talking about the crazy curriculum that they expect our children to learn. They had 2 different teachers when they were 3rd graders. They had 2 different teachers when they were 4th graders. They had 4 different teachers when they were 5th graders. They had 5 different teachers when they were 6th graders. So now that they're 7th graders, how caught up on the curriculum do you think that they are when they've had, for just years, if you were at this particular school, your teacher turnover, because turnover at charters, because we don't have contracts and it's at-will employment, teacher turnover is ridiculous. Like, how are you supposed to teach children when you have 4 teachers in a school year? You have 2 teachers in a school year. Testing, the tests that they require our kids to take. The fact that our children see media as fun and not as educational, there's a huge gap between how well they will do on pencil and paper tests and how well they'll do on tests that are on the computer. Because for a lot of our kids, they only, use it for Snapchat or whatever, and they're not really manipulating, dragging and dropping. They are not cutting and pasting, doing all these things that if you have very limited, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook access to social media, just the interface that they require our children to test on, we don't stand a chance. So the current state of our educational system is something that I just couldn't deal with anymore. As a parent, I just couldn't. So it's broken. I could continue to talk about how broken it is all day, but I think I've done a pretty decent job of.
Also, let me just chip in and say this. If you want to examine the current state, you have to look at the current product that it produces.
Yes.
These children, they don't come out confident.
Nope.
And then some of them, they get sent to college, they major in something that they don't even work in. So besides the lack of confidence, you know, they don't know how to handle real life scenarios. They don't know how to buy a house. They don't know how to manage a business. You know, they're only taught to work for someone else, you know, and you cannot make a living if you're dependent on someone else constantly. So that's another issue.